kids can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com. Hey guys, it's Nick. You know how much I love beer, and this game day, show your Husker pride with Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of the Nebraska Alumni Association. Brewed by Nebraska fans, for Nebraska fans, Dear Old Nebraska Brew is your go-to for every kickoff, touchdown, and celebration. Whether it's tailgating, watching the game at home, or gathering with friends, this beer is there to bring that perfect game day refreshment. Dear Old Nebraska Brew embodies the spirit of Nebraska with every sip. So crack one open and let the good times roll. Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of Nebraska alumni. Please drink responsibly. Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the 6-year senior tight end, finding his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant, Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by Pep Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
This is the Locker Room here on 93.7 The Ticket, but it's not Chancellor Brewington, Mikey Daniel. It's Jake Buckman and Oscar Overman inside the locker room today.
Who can tell the difference?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. I mean, if you saw us, we all physically look just about the same. I know.
Put us in the line if you can't take us out.
Yeah, that's right. Or maybe not. Maybe we're not the former football players, but we still like to talk a little football, and there's plenty of football to talk here as Nebraska prepares for the Pinstripe Bowl. By this time tomorrow, what will be mid-third quarter, something around there? Yeah. So that'd be a good deal. And maybe even a better deal for Nebraska after the news today. I wanted to get your initial thoughts, Austin, on a late opting out from Bill O'Brien as he announced today that Boston College had some late opt-outs here in Donovan Izaraku, the guy that leads the FBS in sacks, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Quite a guy that you usually have to game plan for, so that's a big deal. But not only that, but two-time All-ACC selection, first-team All-ACC this year at tackle, 6'8", 310-pound Ozzie Trapillo. So very likely Boston College here a day before game day lets everybody know the best guy on each side of the line is not going to be playing. Obviously, for these guys opting out, getting ready for the NFL draft, much like Isaiah Nayor is doing. But what do you make of this situation? It's very interesting, and I don't know how long Boston College has known they were going to do this, but it's very interesting timing to me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You understand why, right? I don't want to relitigate opt-outs versus opt-ins, playing versus not playing. Would it be great if both those guys were playing? Yes, it'd be the truest matchup of these two teams, but obviously with the transfer portal in full effect, with the NFL draft cycle coming up, it makes perfect sense that they do opt out. The timing, you would hope that Boston College and Bill O'Brien knew that this was coming. Would be a real kick in the shorts to go through your walkthroughs, your game plans, your practices, just for those guys to leave, again, not even 24 hours before the bowl game. I assume Boston College knew. I assume they have known. And hey, gamesmanship, even in bowl games that know, don't matter. Whatever. Sure, fine. I'm on board with it. I would say just from the Nebraska standpoint, someone that's going to be watching the game, probably better for a guy like Gunnar Gatula, right? In terms of the watchability of the product tomorrow, which Gunnar Gatula's had a pretty solid year filling in at left tackle. But if I'm Gunnar Gatula, I'm a little disappointed. There goes a chance to test myself against the best. Let's see how much I've learned. Let's see how much I've grown. That's why you play in games like this, right? Postseason, right? Not the Pinstripe Bowl specifically, where you don't always assume you will find the FBS leader in sacks, right? But to miss out on that challenge, I think is disappointing for Gunnar Gatula. It's disappointing for fans just to see, how much he's grown. See if he's ready for the challenge. What does he do well? What does he need to get better at? And then on the flip side, for the defensive line, that's a group that's, lost some pieces for Ty Robinson, for Nash Upmaker. Maybe they're going to be matched up with, he's the right tackle, right? Or is he the left tackle?
Who's that? I believe he's their left tackle. I'll double check. Yeah.
Either way, but a guy on the edge that, again, first team, all ACC, really darn good player, definitely going to get some NFL draft love. Whether you're one of those two guys in your last year, you want to go to the NFL, you want to test yourself against the best, or whether you're a young guy, right? With some of the departures, with James Williams gone, with Kai Wallen gone, with Jamari Butler gone, there are going to be reps there for, say, a Riley Van Poppel, for a Cam Lenhart, potentially, other guys up and down the defensive line, to test themselves against the best, right? That's why we would think that you come to Nebraska. Why guys would say they come to Nebraska, because they're going to play upper level competition. They're going to have these matchups to hone their skills, to sharpen their skills. So as a Nebraska fan watching the game, hey, Nebraska's job just got a little bit easier, right? You're not facing two all-conference players that throw a wrench into your game plan on either side of the ball. But it is kind of disappointing, because if you view the bowl game as a measuring stick for these players, how far have we come in 12 games? How far have I come in my career? You miss out on a golden opportunity to test yourself against some of the best players in the country that are going to be playing on Sundays next year.
Yeah, it's interesting too, as you were kind of stating that for Gunnar Gatula too. I was thinking back to, maybe it could be a blessing to get tested, but maybe not. Well, because I remember the last bowl game that Nebraska was in against Tennessee.
Derek Barnett,
I think ruined. Was that Nick Gates?
It was
I think.
Nick Gates.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Nick Gates, he came back for another year, but it didn't feel like he quite had that same mojo. Now, he obviously is able to recover at guard in the NFL and have a good career there. Unfortunately, a couple injuries that have kind of subsided him a little bit, but man, that's what very easily maybe could have happened here with Boston College is you could have and remember in that game Nebraska decided, okay, well, Gates can't do it, let's throw somebody else. You didn't have an answer for Derek Barnett,
Right?
And that could have easily been the case. That has been the case for teams against Donovan Ezereku. So it's interesting. I do think as a fan too, like I don't know, like one way or the other, you want Nebraska to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it just feels like you're taking. It takes a little bit of oomph out of the bowl game because these are again, like I've stated, probably their best two players. Now, offensive tackles don't always get the most hype, but as far as first team all conference selections, they had 3.
Yeah.
And these were 2 of them. The other one at center. Any other selections they had was the only other one they had was a third team defensive tackle. So, and you could say, one player doesn't make a team and all that, but it's just, it really takes a lot out of Boston College's punch. Not to say that they can't win. We'll still see an interesting game, and there still is a lot on the line. As I've been kind of stating, is Boston College looking for their 8th victory. They've had a tough time getting to 8. They haven't done so since 2009. Kind of like their nine wins at Nebraska that Nebraska likes to circle. So they're going for a big milestone, and that was just, I know you said you don't want to like rehash the opt-in stuff because there's no, we're used to it. It's decade old now, but. It really does make me appreciate that Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher are guys that are preparing for the NFL are going to stick around and play in this game that does have some meaning for each side.
Well, and that's the thing that I've been trying to hammer home since all of this started is you can be frustrated and disappointed that you don't see the player, but don't be disappointed in the player for making the best decision for them. I would also echo your sentiment and say it is more of a credit to the guys who do play than a knock on the guys who don't. Right. We don't have to hold it against the players that opt out. We don't have to hold it against Leonard Fournette, I think, was one of the first ones at LSU. We don't have to hold it against those guys for making the best decision for their future. Would I opt out of the bowl game? I would like to think no. It's another chance to play with my teammates, to go on a trip, get some cool gear, get to a new location, whatever it is. Obviously, I would hope that the bowl game was slightly more impactful in the grand scheme of things than the Pinstripe Bowl, but a bowl game's a bowl game. It's a hard year's work of effort, time, sacrifice put in. So why would you not give yourself the reward of one last game with slightly lower stakes and, hey, get some cool gear for it, get some experiences out of it. But again, I'm not there. If I'm going to, risk millions of dollars, that changes the conversation. Yeah. But that's where I don't want to get so mad at these players for opting out and stealing, the joy from us for watching them when they have millions on the table. Instead, I want to give credit to a guy like Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmacher, who are here to, in their minds, finish the job. Job's not done, right? 6-6 is a bowl game season, but it's not a winning season, right? The psychology behind 6-6 versus 6-7 and 7-6, it's a bowl game. It doesn't matter. But you look back at the season, you see 6-7. That's weird. Yeah, they went to a bowl game, they lost. We can kind of just write it off, end of the year, whatever. But you're still one game under 500. You didn't have a winning year. You see 7-6. Whether it's 7-5 with a bowl loss, or for Nebraska in this case, it would be 7-6 with a bowl win. You just look back on College Football Reference, you go back through the years, you say, hey, that's a little bit of a bright spot at the very least. Just the psychology behind finishing the job, doing what you came to Nebraska to do and make a bowl game. And then like Matt Rule says, we're going to be here, may as well win the dang thing. The psychology is just so much better for the program moving forward.
Well, and I think a lot of it, too, is with the momentum, the way that Nebraska's season has gone, much like Pittsburgh, who started off 7-0 and lost their final 6 games to include the bowl game, is that Nebraska did finish 1-5. How much better is 1-5? How much better is 2-5 than 1-6? And maybe it's not a whole lot better, but it's at least kind of less of that, like, man, you went 1-6 down the stretch. You don't have anything kind of going for you. And in Nebraska, we know that they do. And so, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I know it's just hard. That's why these bowl games are so hard to kind of place mentally, because there's this historical thought to them. And then there's just trying to find a way through what college football is. And like you said, don't hate the player, hate the game. And the game in this instance is college football. It is a mess. It is an absolute mess from what I've grown up loving. Some people like it more than ever now because there's constant news, there's constant players to track. The college football playoff, people have been hoping for years. And so some people might love it more than ever. But if you historically liked college football and some of the things that these meant, like the bowl games and that, it's just in a very weird situation. And that's where we kind of are with the Pinstripe Bowl. Is like, how much does it matter? How much does it not matter? But to me, it's that very, like you were saying, that very just definitive answer to whether you had a winning season or a losing season. And that's got to be a big deal. Regardless of whether you play on a rec team, I'm not, when I'm saying that is that you don't have to go through like the experience of playing for Nebraska football to know that if you're playing on a rec team, if you play tic-tac-toe 7 times, you win 4, you feel better, right? You just have to, it's just the difference between a winning team and a losing team.
You just feel a little bit better about yourself at the end of the day. 2 quick things for you. Strick and I talked about this a little bit. Do you think there are too many bowl games, or do we need more bowl games to lean into their identity as down the roster and try to do something creative?
I think they need, there's a lot of money in the bowl games, so I understand kind of what it is. I think they almost need an NBA All-Star game type of change, or at least like the feel that we have to it, because this is not a very good representation of the 2024 Nebraska Cornhuskers or the 2024 Boston College Eagles. So it's just kind of in its weird spot. And maybe that's fine. Maybe we just have to adjust to what it is. But I also think as the college football playoffs go on, and this already happened with the 4-team playoff, but by expanding, on January 1st, it's going to be a crazy day, 4 playoff games. And then you're going to have to try to watch bowl games after that. Like, you're going to watch meaningful championship playoffs and then watch bowl. That'd be like in the NFL asking you to watch a regular season game in the middle of their playoff games between Carolina and something. You're not, it just doesn't have the same feel. So no. I don't know if they're going anywhere because there's enough money. I'm not one that really argues less football. I like more football.
Right.
But man, I don't know if you could fit anymore, because like we were kind of saying, if you do that, then you're getting into the losing teams.
And I'm not saying add more bowl games. I'm saying let's see more bowl games go full Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah.
Let's see more bowl games go full Duke's Mayo Bowl. And here's some of that happens organically, right? It's social media, something that you just do as a knockoff, just for kicks, goes viral on social media. But I don't want to get rid of bowl games. I'm with you. I like having something on during the day to watch. It's fun. It's in the background. You don't have to take it seriously, which is kind of the point. I want to see more bowls take themselves slightly more seriously and say, how do we go to the next level, right? How do we level up and draw interest instead of just accepting being on the back burner? The other thing I want to ask you, Bach, then is obviously Matt Rule has said a number of occasions, fourth quarter team, 75 rushing yards, shutout, all that good stuff. Yeah, you got to build the program. You got to get the talent to that level. It's been a pretty bad showing in November. What is it? 1-9, 1-8 in November over the last 2 years. Well, here's a chance for Matt Rule to end the season strong, right? Prove, hey, there actually is some more in the tank from this program. This would be, again, without reading too far into it, hey, maybe there is more in the tank for these guys that they can finish the season stronger than they have. And I don't know, Bach, I don't want to go overboard, but I am very close to, if Nebraska wins the bowl game, counting that against the overtime streak.
Oh, really?
Because it's not a 12th game. It's not regulation of the season.
I don't know if you can do that. I'm
looking for good vibes, Bach. I'm looking for good vibes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I like the creativity and the idea. But yeah, I mean, things have not gone the way that Matt Rule planned out. Although, especially if they go 7-6, it goes very similar to what his past stops have been. But obviously, he didn't come in here thinking I want to be 500 the first 2 years.
Right.
And there's a lot of problems that have gone through that. The 1 possession games, like you said, the November games, and just there's holes on the roster all throughout. In certain spots. Obviously not a complete team. But I don't know. I don't know. I think like there's certain things that it can patch up. Like if you win a 1 possession game, you gotta throw it in the statistics. It'll be there.
Right.
So there's certain things that it can patch up. There's other things that Nebraska is just going to have to win as a program. Like I said, finishing 2-5 is a lot better than finishing 1-6, but it's still going to be a statistic we're going to go back to and say, yeah, they haven't finished off the seasons well. So there's a chance to make up some ground there in some of those categories that Nebraska has fallen short in, but it's not going to be a fix-it-all type of game.
No, absolutely not. But if they win, maybe it does. We'll get back to you tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm interested to see because there is, I mean, the transfer portal that Nebraska, and we can talk about this in the next thing too. Got to take a break, but I mean, they've landed a very good transfer portal class. Obviously, had a lot of guys leaving, but it at one point in time, a couple weeks ago, when all the players were leaving, it was like, man, Nebraska, it's going to be hard to say that they're going to be kings of the offseason again. I think they can make it back. I think we can win the offseason again going into next year. Let's go. But a lot of it depends on this Boston College game. We'll talk about more about this and Nebraska's basketball's victories in Hawaii. We'll do that coming up next year on The Locker Room on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and the holiday sales event is now underway with unbelievably low interest rates and huge discounts on both our new and pre-owned inventory. Right now, we're offering 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. These are the absolute biggest discounts of the year. You heard right, 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. So please stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit, must trade, and Costco.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems at both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's all-new Ridge lineup. The Ridge XR, Ridge HVAC, and the Ridge Limited, all built to take on your day with a full factory cab, including heat and AC. Stop by Indian Motorcycle of Lincoln today and rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of December. Save big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft on end-of-the-year specials store-wide at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hey guys, it's Nick. You know how much I love beer, and this game day, show your Husker pride with Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of the Nebraska Alumni Association. Brewed by Nebraska fans, for Nebraska fans, Dear Old Nebraska Brew is your go-to for every kickoff, touchdown, and celebration. Whether it's tailgating, watching the game at home, or gathering with friends, this beer is there to bring that perfect game day refreshment. Dear Old Nebraska Brew embodies the spirit of Nebraska with every sip. So crack one open and let the good times roll. Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of Nebraska alumni. Please drink responsibly.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk commitment. And what better way to do that than with some shiny, sparkly jewelry? Am I right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have to rush, but if you're considering making a significant move, do your planning. We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, fog and drizzle expected throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies with the high around 47. Tonight, mainly clear with patchy fog possible, low near 30. And tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning and mainly sunny for the afternoon. We'll see a high around 52. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Anderson Ford, we have commission-free guides who are paid to give you a great experience, not make a sale, so you can choose the best vehicle for you. During the Get Holiday Ready sales event, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for only $379 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1003769, 375 per month. Lease for 36 months with a free credit, 7,500 miles per year, 47.50 to assign. No security deposit required. Tax title and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 1225. See delivery details.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovoma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here in the locker room. It is Jake Bachman alongside Austin Orman, and we are getting you through the locker room as we count down to On the Block, which, of course, Austin will be a part of. What you got planned for On the Block today? Quick little preview.
I am actually just putting out the tweet on the On the Block Twitter account, so we will talk some Husker hoops with Stricky. I know he was watching. We were talking a little bit about it. NBA Christmas ratings were up significantly, and Kevin Durant defends the modern NBA on Twitter. So that was fun. We'll do the shootout with Strick and then do some bowl game preview, lean a lot into the young players, especially who do Strick and I want to see get their opportunity and shine in the bowl game.
Well, there you go. That's a little preview for On the Block here, about a half an hour away, but we still got a little bit to talk here on the locker room. And I did want to talk about Nebraska winning the Diamond Head Classic. First in-season tournament Nebraska's won since the year 2000. So it's been some time.
San Juan shootout, baby.
It's been a while, and it's funny because that statistic kind of got thrown out there, and it just kind of appeared, it just kind of dawned on me that was the case. Like, usually when Nebraska plays in these tournaments, I don't necessarily expect them to play in the championship game. I just kind of follow along for the ride and see how far they get. But this year, Nebraska was the favorite going in, and they come out of that as the champion. It's interesting too, because like usually with those tournaments, you're always like, well, this team went to the tournament last year. There's a few teams that went to the tournament last year in this in-season tournament. And Nebraska was that team this year. So it's just weird, an adjustment that we can make, I think, here in Nebraska, getting used to being maybe the favorite. But I mean, man, it was a great tournament. Nebraska ended up beating Murray State 66-49, beat Hawaii 69-55, and beat Oregon State 78-66. And man, was it an efficient performance from Bryce Williams. He ended up getting MVP of the tournament. Juwan Gary really started to play some good ball as well. Connor Esesian adding a punch in that first game with 5 threes. And it's nice to win the tournament. Obviously bounce back from that Michigan State loss with an Indiana win, and then those 3 wins there. But more importantly than just winning is that Nebraska is starting to look like a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard some conversation earlier this morning on the drive, and I kind of wanted to ask you, because their thoughts were, you play that Michigan State game, it's easy to get down on yourself, to respond and bounce back. My question for you is, after Nebraska has made this run, if they played Michigan State again, do you think that it would be a closer game? Remember, that was I think it was the biggest blowout in Michigan State history in the Big Ten. So naturally you expect it to be a little bit closer. But do you think that Nebraska just got magically that much better? Or do you think there might be some matchup issues there still with the Michigan State type team?
I don't think there were the matchup issues that it looked like there were in that game physically. Mentally, Michigan State looked so much more ready to go. And I want to give Nebraska, again, credit for bouncing back the way they did, because it was a week off essentially between North Florida and Michigan State. Then you had the same amount of time off between Michigan State and Indiana the very next week. One of those games was on the road. One of those games was at home. And going up to Michigan State playing the way that Nebraska did, I didn't expect to happen, and I really don't expect to happen again the rest of the year. If it does, it'll be a problem. But coming home, okay, you responded, you got home, you're supposed to do that, you did it. Then you go out with, again, another long layoff between games, between Indiana to this tournament. Then you play 3 and 4 with all the distractions that come with a road trip that long. But maybe it was something that brought the team together, galvanized them, focused them up on the road. Whatever it was, Nebraska looked pretty good. Not dominant necessarily. I would tell people maybe pump the brakes just a little bit, because there's some pretty big score margins there. Oregon State wasn't a 12-point game. That got inflated late. Hawaii, Nebraska kind of kept it arm's length. And then Murray State, the first half, 34-14, and then a really back and forth second half there. Murray State got it to 12 at a couple points, with like 3.5 minutes to go. So it wasn't exactly danger zone for Nebraska, but it was getting interesting before the defense clamped down again. So that's a very roundabout way of saying, I don't know your question, but the Michigan State game go the same way. It wasn't bad competition in Hawaii. It wasn't elite competition in Hawaii either. Nebraska, for my money, would have been the favorite going into the tournament. To me, it was just taking care of business. And that, to me, is really, I think, the important part of all of this, Bach, is that last time Nebraska went out to this very same event was the year after they made the tournament. They went out there in 2014-15. They lose their first game, and then they win the next 2. So, I mean, they finished in 5th place in that, which, okay, not the end of the world, but losing your first game as the tournament team last year, and felt the issues of that team, not a great look. I don't worry about this team, or really this program, losing games it shouldn't lose anymore, right? Even when Murray State got it close, I'm like, they'll find a way to hold on. Hawaii, a pretty disjointed first half by all accounts. Not too worried. They'll find a way to get things figured out. And even Oregon State, right? Oh, they gave up some points off turnovers heading into halftime. It's a closer game than it should have been. Oregon State takes the lead. Yeah, they were ranked higher in the net than Nebraska going into that game, but I think most people from the outside would have told you Nebraska is the better team going into that one. It's a huge step in the right direction for the program that I think fans can really start to count on it taking care of business, not losing games it shouldn't lose. Incarnate Word, Gardner, Webb, Samford, the whole list comes to mind right now. Fred got out of the way in game 1 with the Riverside. It's come a long way since that. So credit Nebraska for doing what it did. I don't think all the questions are magically answered, because I do think it was competition that was maybe not 3 or 4 steps down, but a step down from what Nebraska will see night in, night out in the Big Ten. But it was challenging enough that you can't say, oh, it wasn't nothing. Oh, it was a cakewalk. Nebraska earned it. Nebraska absolutely earned it. They were in some dogfights. They found ways to pull away and win the game, similar fashion, but different fashion each night. I'm going to chalk it up as a pretty impressive showing out in Hawaii.
Well, and I think, too, one thing that we've kind of talked about, as they now, they got Southern coming up here on Monday, and then it's just Big Ten. And by Big Ten, you want to have your rotation set.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if it was completely, I know Aaron Eulis was dealing with some sickness or something, but they won that tournament playing 8, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they've kind of pared it down. Gavin Griffiths hasn't been getting minutes. It looks like maybe, between that and Eulis, I don't, you knew there was going to be some odd guys out. And again, still kind of to be seen with Eulis after they return home. But I kind of like the 8 that they have now. Maybe at some point, somebody's playing well in practice, somebody's not living up to expectations. You got some options there. That's what's great. But ultimately, you want to get the most out of your minutes. And I believe to get the most out of the minutes, most college football, college basketball coaches will have to pare down that lineup. Do you think they've done that? Is that was something that's been accomplished out there?
It's starting to feel like it. The questions of the rotation for me are yes, Eulis. I think this coaching staff really likes him. If they're going to lean into the defensive identity, he's going to play. Problem is, he and Sam Hoiberg are basically the same player. Not exactly, right? You've seen more. This is not a knock on Aaron Eulis. I'm not saying he doesn't hustle, but that's what Sam Hoiberg is known for.
Right.
That sort of play.
A steal or 2 a game.
Right. A pick 6 or 2 a game. Like, you don't want to lose that from your rotation, but maybe instead of, Sam Hoiberg and Aaron Eulis both playing 12 minutes, maybe they get 18 combined, however that breaks down. Connor Seaton, I'm curious to see what he looks like in conference play. Been a great weapon in the non-conference, up and down. Down against Michigan State, played a role against Indiana. Curious to see if he is a dependable scorer off the bench or if he's they just forgot this part of the scouting report that night guy with some familiarity between him and these programs in the Big Ten. Gavin Griffith still has a role to play for this team. Is it this year? We'll see. If Nebraska can keep him around, I just think that's a guy that is struggling to figure out his role. Last time we saw him, he looked super hesitant. Part of that is the shot not falling. And if that's not happening, that's kind of a big part of why you got him. But you can't tell me you can't imagine a game from Gavin Griffiths like CJ Wilcher had off the bench, right? Just a random, hey, here's Gavin Griffiths. Remember this guy? Kind of legend of Gavin Griffiths is remade. He's going to be a bit guy probably in the fringe of the rotation, but it might just take one good game. And then you see, a backup, stretch 4 behind Juwan Gary, potentially. Cale Jacobson is the guy they really like. He's probably the first cut. They'll get some of those mop-up garbage time minutes. And then the big guys, right? How much barricade do we see at the 5? That's another question for the rotation. You're going to need Mia. You're going to need Morgan to get through Big Ten play. There's still the bruisers, still the big postmen in there. I don't think Nebraska goes with barricade at the 5 a lot in the Big Ten, but there are going to be nights where Mia just doesn't have it. There's a bad matchup. They need a more athletic guy. It's going to be barricade Morgan. There's going to be nights where Juwan's playing really well and you got a big guy playing really well. Sorry, barricade, you're probably going to get 17 minutes tonight instead of 24, 25. So I do think Nebraska can still pretty comfortably play 9 guys. But again, I think you condense the Hoiberg-Ulis role. You wait for the Griffiths breakout game, and then you mix and match your postmen.
Yeah, and that's the bottom of the rotation. I like those thoughts, but what's more important is what's kind of happened with team and chemistry for the guys that are on the court. We talked about early in the year, Juwan Gary maybe fit better with last year's personnel. We'll kind of have to wait and see. Early on, it felt like that. Now starting to kind of find his role within the offense, not necessarily forced offense from Juwan Gary, but more just kind of playing within the game like he was at last year. Berke, huge tournament out of him. I mean, I think even at the beginning of that tournament, you wouldn't have guessed that he'd be an all-tournament player. He ended up on the all-tournament team and played really well out there. And he's just a guy with a lot of upside. If he can knock down that outside 3, it's going to be hard to guard with his length and his ability, at that size to move with the ball. So, it's just some of these guys are starting to, as we knew would happen, right? As the season progressed, it's not just paring down the rotation, but starting to play together as a unit. And like you said, maybe, Connor Seaton, it would be great if he could be night in, night out. But he might be a guy that, if he's hitting, I mean, he's still, to me, he can add here and there, but he's not a 3-and-D guy. He's a 3 guy,
right?
So he really needs to be hitting to be effective. But if he is, then that adds so much spacing that allows for other guys to do their self. And then the biggest thing is Bryce Williams too. I mean, Bryce is a guy that throughout his career could always have some gigantic nights, and then 1 every 5 games he's going to take 6 shots. I think he's identified that that's not his role this year.
But that night for Bryce Williams where he's only taking 6 shots is probably a night that Connor Seaton's going off, or a night that Berke's going off, or a night that Juwan Gary has another career high, right? Bryce Williams, I don't say Strick and I have given him grief, but we're still trying to figure out the age-old question, does he have that dog in him, right? Answered some of that for me against Indiana, the way he took over that game, especially in the second half. And I think Bryce Williams is a mature enough player now where he's not going to get passive and fade to the background. If Bryce Williams is only taking 6, maybe 8 shots, he's a good enough defender. He's probably locked in down there. He might be handling the ball a little bit more, and he might just recognize someone else is cooking, right? He's pretty darn good at picking his spots. He's not just out there chucking.
No.
They'll draw plays for him. They'll say, Bryce, go get one. He'll recognize matchups, positive or negative for himself. Bryce Williams is making the right play a lot this year. So if some team is taking Bryce Williams out of the game, I'm shocked, because I think that he's found ways where, like you said, that 20% of the time with 1-5 nights where, hey, it's someone else's night, Bryce doesn't get passive. He doesn't have no role to play. He finds other ways to contribute.
Yeah, Bryce is certainly playing the best ball of his career so far. Can't wait to see what's left for Nebraska football, or Nebraska basketball and Nebraska football as we transition to that. Their opponent, Boston College. Before we hand over the reins to On the Block, I want to do a little Boston College history and see if Austin knows his Boston College Eagles. He's going to be Googling it during the break to make it sound smart. We'll do that next year on The Locker Room on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com. or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road.
At Anderson Ford, we have commission-free guides who are paid to give you a great experience, not make a sale, so you can choose the best vehicle for you. During the Get Holiday Ready sales event, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for only $379 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $375 per month, lease for 36 months with a free credit, 7,500 miles per year, $47.50 to assign, no security deposit required. Tax title and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 1225. See delivery details.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. At Midwest Bank, they want to thank all the generous donors who helped make their 2024 Turkey Drive for Schools a success. Thanks to the generosity, they raised enough money to provide 153 families across 6 different schools in Lincoln with a full Thanksgiving meal. With your support, they made Thanksgiving Day for those families a little brighter. They want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC. Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall at Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's all-new Ridge lineup. The Ridge XR, Ridge HVAC, and the Ridge Limited, all built to take on your day with a full factory cab, including heat and AC. Stop by Indian Motorcycle of Lincoln today and rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of December. Save big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft on end-of-the-year specials store-wide at their new 27th and I-80 location.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the best place in Lincoln for a casual get-together, best place to watch a game, and the best for pre- and post-game. Catch college and NFL football as well as the volleyball action this season at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. What's better than wings, cold beer, and a Husker win? Enjoy great food and drink specials every day and tons of TVs to catch all the action. Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, it's been a while since we talked. Hey, what's the latest news at Honda of Lincoln?
It has been a while, Charlie. I hope you're doing well. Happy Honda Days is in full swing, and we have over 200 new Hondas in stock right now, ready for our customers to drive home.
Wow, that's the most you've had in a long time.
It is, Charlie. And we have great lease offers and financing from just 0.9% APR.
Hey, Andy, let me tell them about the pre-owned. They have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned to choose from with financing from 3.9% APR available. Incredible deals on new and used during Happy Honda Days, or if you need tires on your current vehicle, Honda of Lincoln is your best choice. Maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Nebraska is in their first bowl game since 2016, and 93.7 The Ticket is on the scene. Join me, Nick Sainer, Jake Sorensen, and Adam Carricker for coverage from New York City for the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. We'll have videos of festivities on Friday with commentary and videos from pregame, during the game, and postgame on Saturday as Nebraska takes on Boston College at 11 a.m. Central Time. Coverage from the Pinstripe Bowl is sponsored by J-Tech Construction and Solar, High Electric, Lincoln Industries, and A1 Automotive.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back in the locker room here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman along with Austin Orman as we prepare for On the Block to start in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I did want to, again, update on kind of the news of the day. Boston College's best players on their offensive defensive line opting out of the bowl game one day before, as we've mentioned earlier in the show. Hopefully Bill O'Brien knew about it before today. But Donovan Izaraku, who leads college football with 16 and a half sacks, was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, is now out of the bowl game, as well as Ozzie Trapillo on the offensive line. He was a first-team all-conference pick at tackle there in the ACC. So these are big losses for Boston College going into the game. Makes you feel a little bit better about Nebraska's chances. But to beat Boston College, we have to know Boston College. And so now let's test ourselves a little bit on some Boston College trivia. Boston College has one claimed national title. You're going to have to go back quite some time. Do you know what their claimed national title would be?
What year?
What year?
Oh, Boston College. That's obviously 1938.
You're actually pretty darn close. 1940.
Oh, okay,
1939 is when Frank Leahy took over. Went 9-2. And then in 1940, they went 11-0 and claimed a title. However, AP gave it out to Minnesota.
Boo.
I think Stanford got another title. This was the year,
Come on.
you'd kind of have a Western title and an Eastern title. So they claimed their own title there of Boston College, who was independent for the longest time. I know people might remember that. Frank Leahy, by the way, was born in O'Neill, Nebraska, so he let one get away. He went on to go play for Newt Rockne at Notre Dame. And then after, proving that he could be a good coach at Boston College, left Boston College, and then from 1941 to 1953, won 4 national titles at Notre Dame. Again, probably some of those claimed by some other teams as well. But Frank Leahy, 107, 13, and 9 overall as a coach. So Boston College was only able to get him for 2 years, but they were probably happy for those 2 years that they had. Other notable coaches in Boston College history, there's not a whole lot of them. Tom Coughlin coached there from 1991 to 1993. And then my favorite, of course, Steve Adazio. Just some guys being dudes out there. Coach for some time. Not the most successful run for Steve Adazio, but how can you not like
You're not a Jeff Hafley guy?
We could throw out Jeff Hafley. Who's
Jeff Jagodzinski?
Yeah, there's some.
How about that?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm more of an Adazio guy, but
fair enough.
Yeah. Those are some. It's not exactly a list of Hall of Famers on Boston College's list there, but they do have some good players throughout their history at quarterback. Let's see if you can name a few of those.
Matt Ryan.
There it is.
Thomas Castellano. No. Grayson James.
Let's go with a Hail Mary back in the day.
Flutie.
Doug Flutie.
Doug
Yeah,
Flutie, that's right.
Still the career passing leader at Boston College.
We got Flutie. We got Ryan.
Those are the big ones. I wouldn't expect you to get this last one that at least I circled.
What era?
This would be early 90s.
Did he go to the NFL?
Yes, he did. So he played from 94 to 97. Even went to a Super Bowl, I believe. Yeah. 3-time Pro Bowler.
Hit me with it.
Matt Hasselbeck.
Oh, that's right.
Was at one time at Boston College.
That's right.
Eagle. Yeah. So good name there. They've also had some really good running backs over their time at Boston College. AJ Dillon. If you remember, there's some names. They're more kind of college names. Had a little bit of success in the NFL. AJ Dillon, William Green from 99 to 2001 was the big name. Andre Williams. I know a lot of people remember him from 2010 to 2013. Had some big seasons there. So they've had some good running backs there at Boston College. Some other notable names that I could throw out there as of late. Zay Flowers went there. Of course, Luke Kuechly, who's somehow. Is he underrated or is he respected? But there's some weird level there because he didn't play for.
I think he's properly rated. I think that people maybe underrate his statistics, but maybe overrate his impact a little bit. Just because he was probably the best linebacker in the NFL for a few years there. But I think the combination of looking at what his stats were versus what his impact was, I think they meet in the middle, and we properly rate Luke Kuechly.
I like that.
For my money.
Properly rated Luke Kuechly. There it is. There's a few years where you're debating between him and Levante David. And of course, Levante's still playing at that high level. So a few other names, BJ Raji played at Boston College.
Oh, BJ Raji.
And I completely forgot that this had happened. Bill Romanowski, the linebacker of all linebackers, played at Boston College too. So hopefully you learned a little bit of something about Boston College throughout this segment and can carry it in with your friends tomorrow at some pre-gaming. I don't know if you pre-game for an 11 a.m. game, a road game. I'm not sure.
We'll be here.
Yeah, we will be. We'll be pre-gaming on the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pre-game show at 8 o'clock until kickoff there. We'll also be live right after the game. So all, game day coverage tomorrow here on 93.7 The Ticket. But that'll wrap it up for the locker room today. Thanks for Austin for jumping in. He will carry you through the next couple hours, mainly on the block coming up next year with Eric Strickland to join him. So we'll get kind of his thoughts on that Husker basketball victory out there in Hawaii, the upcoming bowl game. That'll wrap it up for the locker room. We'll see you here in a few minutes on the block.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Are you ready for a new opportunity?